So this is funny. I've moved into a caravan and it's the first time I've had any running water for a long time. And stupid me, the water run out yesterday, and when it run out you're supposed to turn the pump off straight away, right? Because if you don't it carries on running. And I didn't turn the pump off and I went to work. When I came back I thought, right, I'm going to change the water, and I didn't think of anything, and I just took the pump out of the water barrel and I could smell burning, like an electrical smell burning, and I thought, somebody having a fire out here? And I went over and filled the water tank up, come back with it and put it back in, and came in and it's not working. I've only gone and blown the fuse box and blown the pump, so the pump is now knackered and the fuses have the pump has gone brown where it's melted, right? So today I'm working, so this is just frazzling me, man, because you've got to get used to all the little quirks of living in a caravan. So one of them is that. The second one is the heating system, which I still haven't figured and fathered out, because it runs on both gas and electric, and I don't know how to do the gas part. So apparently the heating doesn't work without the pump, which is what you need for the hot water. And I haven't got any hot water because I have broken the pump. So that means I've got no heating as well. So I've got my little fan on here, this little electric one. So Steve today is going to go and fix my pump and get a new one, put a new fuse in under the chair, and then hopefully get some running water again. It's really funny, in my last caravan I did not have running water, and so it became a luxury to have a tap that ran. And when I put the running water on, I'm still going, oh my gosh, wow. But I feel bereft because it's gone. And I'm having to go and collect water like I did in old days, and it feels like third world. And that is the biggest pain in the backside. So if you've got a caravan and a pump like that, always switch the pump off when the water goes low. And I've got something in my mouth. And then replace the water and then turn the pump back on, because if you don't, it's the cost of a new pump and a new fuse and someone to do it if you don't know how. So I don't know how much pump costs, but I'll let you know in a bit. So this was yesterday. So today I can tell you what happened. I had to go to the shop and buy another part for the water pump, which cost £16.99, and Steve fixed it to the other part to fix it back. So I've now got water again, but I got my electric bill and it was £118 or something for 1 month, and this is for a van, so that is not good, and I have to pay half. But then I got told yesterday they want me to pay full now because it's so expensive. So I said, what you've done is you've inspired me to go off grid. Now these are just a few little money saving tips that I found, which it sounds nuts to me. I've always had my TV plugged in at the wall with the on switch on. Never thought anything of it. I turn it off at the TV. The same thing with the Wii, and to me that means it's off. But apparently it still uses electric being on. So it's all these little stuff. Now in the other van I did not have a telly and I didn't have my Wii set up, and I've hardly used them anyway, to be fair, but because it's something different it's adding up the cost. So I've been given a kettle for the gas fire for the cooker, and it's got one of those whistles on. So I've got rid of the electric kettle today. I am getting a diesel heater put in. I think they're called Chinese heaters or something, and that will run on diesel or kerosene or gas, I think. I've got a big bottle of gas which cost £83, And today I got the fridge switched on to gas instead of electric. So those little things should bring my bill right down. But I said yesterday, I said I'm cheesed off because all I've got in here really is it's not a small caravan, but I don't have many gadget stuff and I don't have things on all the time. And we said, well, it must be the little heater, which I'll show you. One of these. Now this one is on 1 kilowatt and it is actually supposed to be really cheap to run, and it clearly is not, because it's on a thermostat. So when the temperature drops to a certain temperature, then it kicks in and it will switch itself off when it reaches that temperature, so it goes on and off. Now I admit I've left it on a few nights, sometimes by accident, and not realised until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. But if it's that expensive, then they're not worth having. So what I'm going to do is try and get off grid as much as I can. So I'm going to do some videos in the future of when I get there, because I think I'm going to have a look at some other people's videos, because you can get heat from candles and terracotta pots and things like that. So I'm going to experiment with things like that to keep the van warm and see if I can get the bill right down, because this is just ridiculous. Bear in mind it's only just gone November, so the bill that I got was for October and it wasn't freezing cold. So if you're looking at a bill of £113 or whatever for 4 weeks, then imagine what it's like in December, January, when it gets really cold. And I am in Scotland. You know, you could be talking £200 a month just for electric. So I need to make a plan and cut back on everything so that I don't suffer and I still have a comfortable life. And I've got to make sure that the van doesn't get damp as well, so it's got to stay warm. If I had space, I would put a gypsy heater in as well, because I had that Father Ted caravan and we put the gypsy stove in there and it was fantastic because the dry heat took all the moisture out of the air. But there is nowhere in here to put a stove like that, I don't think. So we're just going to have to play about with other stuff. Or last night, oh my gosh, we got a storm and the winds got up to 45 miles an hour, which isn't major, but it absolutely freaked me the heck out because of the awning. And I said, that's it. I swore at the awning 3 times in the night and I said, I don't want you anymore, you're doing my head in. Because when you get really strong winds like that and you get the gusts, it rocks the caravan. And I kept thinking that awning's going to collapse, and it obviously didn't. It was fine. But I thought, no. So next week the awning is coming down and I've got an air awning to put up. And the reason that I'm doing that is because I got told if we get the odd freak storm up here, like you might get a couple of times a year, you might get a really bad gale, and that is, I've seen it happen on the park where awnings just get torn to pieces. Now about a month back, I think 11 awnings got knackered on the park because the people were here. These were the seasonals, and so the wardens were going around trying to save them, but most of them were air awnings and they weren't pegged down properly. But what I got told is if you put a pulled awning up and there's a storm and it's not pegged down right, or it catches wrong and it takes that up, then the pulls hit the van and they can cause a lot of damage. Like they can go through the windows and hit the roof and cause damage. So I don't want to go through any of that. And then I got told that the air awning, even if it blows up and off, it won't really cause any damage. It'll just fly about like a kite. So I'm going to put the air awning up next week and we're just going to see how it goes. But for now I'm using the gas that was left here from the previous owner. So there's still about an eighth of a tank left of it, but it's I've forgotten how big it is, but it's an £83 bottle, so it's the biggest gas you can buy for a caravan anyway. So I've still got enough to cook with, and I'm going to use as much gas as I can, and I've got another big bottle to use, and it's basically just cut back on electric as much as possible. I have got fairy lights. These ones here are on, they're on the mains, them ones, but I've got the fairy lights over there are on batteries. But everything's going up in price, so it's about being frugal but without being tight and without suffering. So if you've got any money saving ideas for each other, because times are coming where we need to, this will make you laugh, I've got right into popcorn, right? That's my treat, right? So I bought some popcorn, and it was £1.35 for 50 grams of popcorn, and that did the equivalent of 7 big bags of popcorn that cost £1 each. So when I go shopping, I always buy a big bag of popcorn, right, or more, and that's £1 each. So let's just say I spend £7 a week on popcorn. So I buy the little packet for £1.35, and it made the equivalent of 7 bags. So that's a huge saving. However, I found online, go and buy bulk. So I bought 5 kilograms of popcorn, which will be the equivalent of about 400 bags of popcorn. And it cost £8. That is amazing. I mean, if you think of how much money I'm saving there, wow. So me and Steve, I say me and Steve, he does all the cooking, makes big panfuls of stuff and freezes portions off, so we've always got meals in the freezer. And I gave him all my prep stuff because I were prepping in the first lockdown, and I saved loads of lentils and kibbled onions, peas, rice, all those kind of stuff. And so we're using all that now, and I bought them 2 years ago, and they're still alright. See, you do things at the time and everyone laughs at you and goes, why would you do that? Because there never was a food shortage, we were fine. But it's coming to its own now, because my food bill has gone. What's she doing? Oh my god. Mummy bought some corned beef for the dogs, and Honey Girl's just found it and she's trying to break into it. You can have it soon, puppy. She's trying to eat it now. Yeah, your eyes are bigger than your belly, Honey Girl, like me. So yeah, that prepped food is coming to its own, and I'm really chuffed that I did that now, because it has saved hundreds and hundreds of pounds a month on food, because I were buying salmon for £5 a portion, salad, organic. I was spending over £100 a week on food, on me, which is disgusting, because I was eating the best. But my food bill's gone down to about £20 a week, because I've got all this food. And you know, the meals that he cooks are like restaurant quality. So it's like eating out at a restaurant every night, and it's lovely food, and it's really healthy as well. So even though I've gone down to part-time hours, my overheads are still very low. And aside from the electric, which I've now got to pay full, if I can get that cut right down, I can still save money, even on 3 days a week part-time work. So I'm going to see how it goes. Lots of exciting things coming for the future, which I won't talk about right now, but oh my god, big things are happening in my life, and hey, I'll discuss them as they come along at the time. But wow. So I will go for now. If you've got any money saving tips that can really help, just leave them below, and I will see you later.